Hello and welcome to Spartans Sports Central. This is the first edition of this new show. Throughout the year, we will be featuring various Stafford High School athletic teams. Tonight's opening edition, you'll hear from Stafford High football coach Ron Cowner, Stafford High volleyball coach Melissa Hoffmann. You'll meet Kameron Hill, a two-way starter on the Spartans line who excels academically and athletically. Without further ado, we're going to welcome Coach Cowner. The Spartans are a remarkable 16-3 on the road under Coach Cowner, and they're coming off a big victory over perennial state power Navasota. Coach Cowner, congratulations on the victory the other night.
Thank you.
So you guys have just been really dominant out there. Talk about some of the dominant performances you've had recently.
We're playing very well right now. Hopefully we can keep this up and continue to improve all the way through district and then into the playoffs so we can make a long playoff run.
Okay, because we talked about before the season how tough this non-district schedule would be, and now having completed it, what were some of the keys to succeeding the way you did, double-digit victories in every game?
Yeah, the first couple games we had rain delays, so we had some adversity and we overcame those rain delays, and we've been on the road 3 out of 4 games. If you'd have told me before the season that we were going to be 4-0 right now, I'd be surprised, because going down to Calhoun, playing 3 of these 4 games on the road, it's kind of surprising, to be quite honest with you. Not just the fact that we're 4-0, but that we're 4-0 and we've won some of these games by such a wide margin.
Yeah, speaking of that, 93-6, you've outscored opponents the last 2 games. Was that something that you thought was possible before?
No, but I tell you what, we're getting great play from our quarterback. Walter White's playing exceptional. Our receivers are very talented. We've got 2 very good running backs. The offensive line, which was a little bit of a question mark coming into the season, has really come together. So we're playing pretty good offensively, and we felt like we were going to be good again on defense.
Yeah, let's talk about the quarterback play. Walter White has more touchdowns than anybody else in this district. He has 9 of them and only 2 interceptions. Is that something you attribute to his decision making?
Yeah, he's making great decisions, and as a sophomore last year, he hurt his shoulder a little bit, and we had a good quarterback last year, and he almost beat him out last year, a senior quarterback, when he was only a sophomore. So Walter's playing great, and he's a very coachable young man, and he can run it and throw it, so he's having a great season so far.
And you have some depth at quarterback too.
Yeah, Charles Crooms actually had a sprained ankle for a couple of weeks, so he was not 100%, but he's kind of almost 100% now, so he's a good backup for us.
And then James Brown has 2 100-yard-plus rushing games, and then then Cam Montgomery comes back in the picture. Talk about how having both of those guys works well for you as far as keeping everyone fresh.
Yeah, I've never had 2 running backs as good as those 2 guys in my 28 years of coaching, so we're doing some different things with them with the split backfield this year, and they're very talented. And again, James hasn't played in the 4th quarter of any of the games, I don't think, and so Cam just came back last week, so having both of those guys healthy for district's going to be a big plus for us. Okay.
So you play Navasota at their place. Obviously, that's a big name, Navasota. Everyone throughout Texas football knows who Navasota is. How did you prepare the kids going up there that you're playing a team and not the name?
We just take every game one game at a time, one team at a time, where we really try to focus every week on whoever we're playing and give them respect. But we're not going to, ever be in, fear or awe of any team that we play, because we think we've got a very good team ourselves. So we just try to take a business-like approach every week.
Okay. In that game specifically, I mean, you just jumped on them right away and then really never let up.
In fact, in my pregame talk, that's one of the things I talked to the kids about. I watched the Navasota players in pregame warm-up and watched their coaches, and since they were having a bad year so far and they're not used to losing like they've been losing this year, I kind of felt like if we jumped on them early, then we could take their home crowd out of the game. It was their homecoming. I told the kids, if at the end of the first quarter, if we don't have a good lead, 14-0 or 17, 21-0, then it's going to be a ball game. But I think if we jump on them early and then, keep their crowd quiet, keep their kids from getting excited, then everything will be fine. And that's how it worked out.
Speaking of that, yeah, Jalen Petrie, 2 interceptions, and then you also had a block punt. How big were those factors in the victory?
Well, Jalen Petrie's a special player. He's got instincts that you just can't coach, and he's going to be very successful at the next level also because he plays faster than his actual speed is. He's a coach on the field. He's our safety. That he's kind of like our quarterback on the defense. And when we lost him last year midway through the season, it really hurt us in the playoffs. So Jalen is just a great young player.
Okay. A lot of guys catching touchdown passes. Just talk about, kind of spreading the ball that way.
Yeah, we've got 4 very talented wide receivers. Again, in my 28 years of coaching, I've never been blessed with this type of skill at the skill position. So quarterback, running backs, receivers, we're very talented. And not only are we very talented, the kids are very coachable, and they're playing very well right now.
So Dave Campbell's Texas Football does a top 10. I've talked to the editor. I said, you guys got to take a look at Stafford. He says y'all are right on the cusp, like around number 11 or so. Is that any motivation for you guys to, get left out of that?
No. Somebody told me in one, there's all kind of rankings. Some website had us ranked 7th in some power ranking, somebody else 15th. We're not going to worry about any of that till the end of the season. All we're worried about is where we end up in the playoffs, how far we can go in the playoffs. Again, if we continue to improve, we've got a chance to make a long playoff run and hopefully be playing games into December, and not just 2 or 3 rounds, but maybe 4 or 5, or who knows, make it all the way to state.
Okay. Well, thank you, Coach. We'll catch up with you
Mike.
later in the program. Right now, we're gonna visit with Coach Melissa Hoffmann and talk about the Stafford High volleyball team.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America and your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Dad, we need to talk. If you're not going to listen to me, who will you listen to?
Jeffrey.
Is that Marcia Gay Harden?
I think so.
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain is changing.
That's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age.
Really?
Whoa! Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov.
Everywhere that we go, he makes people laugh and makes people smile, and I feel like I have that quality.
He's the one who always takes me fishing.
I watch golf with him.
I watch him cook, because when I grow up, I want to be a cook too.
We have the same faces like this.
Dad is the one, when you fall, that picks you up.
That unconditional sense of presence and reassurance is really what makes him my father.
From one Stafford High success story to another, we're here with Stafford High volleyball coach Melissa Hoffmann. Coach Hoffmann is in her 4th season with the program. Last season, 3 members of the team either signed or committed with Division I universities. And more recently, the Lady Spartans finished 2nd out of 16 schools in the Stafford tournament, and they regularly challenge 6A and 5A opponents. The Stafford is 4A for you folks following at home. Thank you for being with us today, Coach Hoffmann. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Mike.
Great. So let's just let the folks out there know that this was filmed on a Monday. Tomorrow, the Lady Spartans open the district at Needville, and you'll be seeing this at the earliest on Wednesday. So we are going to go ahead and talk about the recent Stafford tournament where y'all finished 2nd out of 16 teams. Tell me about the success there, Coach.
It was a great tournament for us, and we love to host it every year. It's good quality competition. And this year, we got so close, only losing to Conroe in the championship game. And it was a tough loss. It was close. We fought all the way, so I was really proud of our team and the way they performed and the way they held it together and kept fighting.
Had that been Stafford's best finish in recent years in the tournament?
No, we finished 2nd before. We're trying to get that first place finish at home in our tournament. And we've in the 4 years I've been here, we finished 2nd, 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 and 3rd.
Okay.
So
they're making progress there.
Yes.
You've had some good teams there. How does this team compare with some of your previous teams at Stafford?
Last year we had a really good balanced program, 23-7, and with those 3 girls going on to play on the next level. With those girls graduating, I kind of thought that we were going to be a little bit down, but we're actually not. We've had some young kids step in and really, rise to the challenge, and we're a different type of team, but we're competing, and these girls don't give up. We've had a lot of close wins and come from behind wins, and they just keep fighting, and they really have a great spirit.
Tell me about some of your key players this season.
We have some returners, Talia Monroe and Aaliyah Williams. They're juniors, and they played big roles last year on our team, and even bigger this year. We have a sophomore, Deja Smith, who's stepping up as a big offensive threat, and then we also have a newcomer that's a freshman, Alexis Williams, and she's really surprised me and taken over a large role with our team this year as a freshman.
Okay, great. And I noticed you guys in the non-district, you played a lot of 5A and 6A schools, even in the tournament, outside the tournament. Is that kind of geared toward helping prepare you guys for district?
Yes, with the change in our district from last year to this year, our district has increased in competition, so we just want to be as best prepared as we can going into district. It's still not going to be easy. I really feel like we are the underdog, and we're going to be fighting to get a playoff spot, and we're just going to try to take every game, one game at a time, and see if we can upset some teams this year.
Okay, great. And Stafford is their next home game is going to be Columbus at 5 p.m., is that right, on
Yes.
Friday? And we want to let the folks out there watching know that you can watch the varsity volleyball play at 5 and then football at 7:30. Just walk out of the gym and onto the field. So just talk about that, your game against Columbus coming up.
Right, it's going to be a big game for us. It's our first time to play Columbus ever in my 4 years being there. And having a good crowd would really help, because when we're up and we're playing good and the crowd's in it, it kind of takes a little something away from our opponent. So I would love to have people come out and support us before the game.
All right, thanks, Coach Hoffmann.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, be sure to come out and watch, support the Lady Spartans before you go to the football game on Friday night. And coming up next, you'll get to meet Kameron Hill. Kameron Hill is an exceptional student athlete and has represented the Spartans well on and off the field. I think you'll enjoy this next segment and getting to know Kameron.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Cheers. Take time to be a dad today.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
A smile. It can show how we feel. It can change the course of our lives. But what would life be like if you weren't able to smile? It doesn't have to be this way. Since 1999, Smile Train has been helping children experience the simple joy of a smile. To learn more, call or go online now.
Kameron Hill is an exceptional student athlete and has represented the Spartans well on and off the field. SME TV took some time to spotlight Hill. We hope you'll enjoy watching this segment as much as we did putting it together.
As the 2016 football season progresses, all eyes are on the veteran Spartans, the seniors leading the team. One standout both on and off the field is team captain Kameron Hill. Kameron gives us his overview of his first 3 years as a Spartan.
Well, the highlights of my first 3 years, it's been just perennial playoff appearances and just competing at a high level, you know, with my teammates and just making Stafford known around the Houston area.
Kameron refuses to rest on his laurels. He has ambitious goals for his senior year.
Our goals for this season are to win a district championship. That's the first one. The next one is to reach the second round of playoffs. The third one is to make it past the second round of playoffs. And the fourth one is to win a state championship. And that should be every team's goal, is to win a state championship. So that's our goals. Number one thing is just unity, just playing together and just giving everything we got every play.
Hill credits the Spartans' development to the leadership of the coaching staff.
When Coach Counter got here, we got better, and our coaching staff has told us, and we believe that if we just come together, just play hard, and just give every amount of energy we have, we can win any game against anybody. So that's what we're going to do.
The coaches believe that having student leaders like Kameron on the team is essential to success.
At the end of the day, like we always tell them, it's their football team. You know, this is their team, and we go as they go. You know, we're just the coaches. All we do is give them the game plan, and they have to go out and execute it. So you have to have leadership, just like in anything in life. There has to be a leader, and even in being even the guys who aren't quote unquote leaders, it takes some sort of leadership on their part to fall in line. I've watched Kameron grow from physically. I've watched him go from a skinny, probably 6 foot, 150-pound kid as a freshman to what you see now, 6'3", 230. He's grown in the weight room, maturity-wise. He's always been a mature kid for his age, and now he's just a mature young man who, you know, I see great things for in the future. His leadership level, man, I can't even, words can't express how much of a leader he is. I mean, he takes what we tell him and he internalizes everything from the coaches, and he puts in the work. He puts it in the work. He tries to get his other teammates to rally around what we tell him to do and get it done.
Kameron's just a great young man. He's 14th in his class. He's just very intelligent and a hard worker also. He's usually the first guy out here to the practice field after school and the last one off too. Just a great young man. He just, even though he's one of our captains and one of our senior leaders, he doesn't take anything for granted. He runs every drill full speed. He does everything the right way. You know, I've told some people he reminds me of a couple guys that I've coached in the past that were fortunate, lucky enough to make it to the NFL. I don't know if that's going to happen for Kameron, but I know he's going to be successful in life, whatever he does.
One goal Hill sets for himself is to be a well-rounded individual.
Some of the things I do to balance my academic and my athleticism is I just kind of put time away to study after practice and just time management. Time management is my key.
As he considers college and beyond, he approaches the future with his trademark blend of focus and flexibility.
I mean, obviously everybody wants to play in the NFL, but that's my first goal. But if that don't work out, I want to do something in engineering or in a STEM field, a science or a math field. So that's really what I want to do.
We're sure this Spartan can accomplish anything he sets his mind to. For Spartans Sports Central, I'm Stacy Hawkins.
Coming up next, we'll preview the district opener versus Bay City.
I believe in you. Just 4 simple words. But to a child in need, they mean the world. When you support a child through Save the Children, you're saying, I believe in you. Visit sponsor.savethechildren.org/believe today.
Some places have the power to transform us, connect us, move us. This is the power of place, the power of parks and open spaces to improve cities, communities, and ourselves. This is the work of the Trust for Public Land, putting open space within reach of every person in America. Help us create the power of place and healthier, happier communities nationwide.
Maybe he's really focused.
Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today.
In high school sports, leading up to district is designed to prepare you for the district games. Now, Stafford has won their last 4 district openers, but the Spartans aren't taking Bay City lightly. They know every team in 12-4A Division I is much improved. Also, Friday is going to be 8th grade night, as our Stafford 8th graders will be recognized during Friday's game. This is our second home game of the season, and Stafford is a remarkable 15-1 at home under Coach Counter. All right, welcome back, Coach Counter. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Mike.
We're talking about the Bay City game. That's your district opener. I know they're 2-2. How do you size up Bay City at this point?
Well, they're very good. They really could be 4-0. They've lost 2 games, close games, and they just lost last week to Kameron Hill, who's a perennial power in the state of Texas. And it's actually where the Bay City head coach came from. He was the offensive coordinator there. So they feel like they're very good and could be 4-0 again. And defensively, they're leading the district in defense. So it's going to be a challenge for us.
What kind of challenges do they present defensively?
Well, they've got a couple players back from last year that were all district, a linebacker, a safety, a defensive lineman, and so we're familiar with those guys from last year. But Coach Flores has been there 2 years, and he's done a great job. He's really turned the program around. They were really struggling before he got there, and especially on the defensive side of the ball, you see a just tremendous improvement. They're only giving up 100 and some yards a game, which is remarkable on defense. So. If they're off in their offense, they've got a good young quarterback. So once they're off, he's only a sophomore. Once he gets clicking, I think they're going to be a playoff team probably in our district.
So how much of a key is it for you guys, like we talked about earlier, to get that early start and kind of jump on them early at home?
Well, that's always the case at home or away. If you're on the road, you want to take the crowd out of the game. If you're at home, you want to get your crowd excited. You want to get your players excited. So you always want to get off to a good start.
Okay. So as we alluded to earlier, 15-1 at home since you took over at Stafford. Is there any method to your magic there, or?
Good players, and we got very good assistant coaches. And that one was, I believe, the overtime, or not overtime.
Lost El
Campo, where they scored with 30 seconds left or something like that. So I think it was 35-32. So we could be undefeated at home. But again, we're very lucky to have very good players and very talented players, and they've really bought into our system in the 4 years that we've been there. And I got to bring in some coaches when I got to Stafford, and just very lucky that everything's going in the right direction.
And what about the home crowd? How much of a factor is that for you?
Oh, definitely. With our new field turf, with the stadium upgrades we did, with the new track, and we have a very good venue to host games, and we feel like we have, that home court advantage or that home field advantage. So whoever we're playing, we're going to expect to win when we play at home.
Okay, so Kameron Hill, have you watched the film yet of
Yes.
Bay City and Kameron Hill?
Yeah.
Now, Kameron Hill was the runner-up last year in 3A. What did you kind of take away from that close game?
Well, Kameron Hill is very good at throwing the football. We already saw them on film earlier this year against Belleville, but they struggled a little bit running the ball against Bay City. Again, Bay City is very good defensively and especially up front, so we'll just have to see how Bay City tries to play us defensively. If they really try to load the box and put everybody up there to stop the run, we're going to have to throw the ball. If they play a little softer coverage and drop people into coverage but we feel like we can throw or run. We're pretty balanced. If you look at our stats offensively, we're pretty even running and throwing the ball and rushing attempts and throwing attempts. So whatever the defense does, we feel like we can take advantage of it.
Now you guys defeated Bay City the past 2 years, 49-20 and 34-14. I know a lot of the kids were on those teams. What do you have to do to keep them from getting overconfident this time around?
I don't think that's a problem, because when we showed them film during 5th period athletics today, they could see the quality of the Bay City team. And again, they know that 2 years ago, 3 years ago when we played them, it was a different coaching staff there. And since they changed coaches, and they had a really good freshman class last year. Their freshman team was really good last year. So they can see the players on the film. And we always tell them the film doesn't lie, the video doesn't lie. And I can't try to tell you they have good players. But when I show you 56 making plays, number 40 making plays, number 3 making a play, they see the players. And when I tried to compare them to, our players, their linebacker today, I said he's very similar to Elijah Smith, who we had last year, and Noah Nelson, who we had this year. And then they see him making a big hit, and they say, oh yeah, Coach, he could play for us. He's a good player.
Okay, so now I know it's going to be 8th grade night. What is talk about how important it is to have that kind of outreach to those middle school players, future high school Spartans?
Well, one of the things when I got to Stafford that I heard that in the past that sometimes 8th graders left Stafford to go to a Fort Bend high school or go wherever, and we wanted to make sure that we kept those guys between 8th and 9th grade. And when you're having success, that's going to help retain your students and your athletes. Fixing the stadium up, putting the field turf in, all those things. But one of the things I wanted to do is have an 8th grade night at one of the home games where we just briefly introduce those 8th grade football players, let them come out there on the field, wave up to the crowd and be recognized. And again, anything you can do to promote, the community and school spirit in general, we're going to try to do something every home game to recognize some group.
Okay. Now, I know you kind of take everything game by game and all, but now that this is the first district game, how do you size up this district, this 12-4A Division I?
Well, like I said, El Campo is obviously going to be, a favorite along with Stafford. They're 4-0. They've beat 3 5A teams. And again, I'm sure if you talk to their coach right now, he's probably pleasantly surprised, just as I am, that he's 4-0, that we're 4-0. I don't know if we're both going to be undefeated later in the year when we play each other, but
and you have Needville's 4-0 too.
Needville's 4-0. Like I said, Bay City, they feel like they could be 4-0. In fact, the first week of the season, I believe it was, every school in our district won. They went 7-0.
Yeah, we went 7-0 as a district.
It's a tough district.
Beyond this week with Bay City, you have to go to Columbia. Have you got to that point yet, or are you going to kind of worry about that after the Bay City game?
Really hadn't even thought about that yet. Again, we really try to just stay focused, one day at a time, one play at a time. We don't look ahead too far. We just want to stay in the present.
Okay. And then you've had several guys commit to colleges so far, 3 to Division I colleges. That's pretty impressive for a school.
Yeah, it's amazing actually, but when we got here and we saw how talented this group was, and on top of that, they're great students. They all have good grades, and they're good kids, good families, and so I've been telling the college coaches the last couple of years that this was going to be a great class, and who knows how many we'll end up signing. But to have 3 already committed to Division I schools, to Rice, Baylor, and Texas A&M is pretty impressive.
Those 3 are Hezekiah Jones to A&M, Cam Montgomery to Rice, and Jalen Petrie to Baylor. And with that, we will have to conclude the show. Thank you, Coach Counter.
All right, thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
We taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?